I think when you see companies that are implementing AI, they're looking for three things. How do I become more efficient? How do I save costs? Or how do I make money?
And organizations across the globe have tried chatbots and AI assistants. But it seems like today, it's not about the tech, it's about business outcomes.
This is unforeseen that hundreds of thousands of Amazonians on their own calling and saying, I need access to this tool and using it persistently.
At Quantiphi, we have this concept of Phi Moments and these transformational defining moments where something pivotal has happened. Has there been sort of that one moment where you or a customer said, that's it?
Yeah.
And now let's go.
Welcome to Phi Moments, a podcast by Quantiphi.
Welcome to Quantiphi's Phi Moments Podcast, where we explore AI breakthroughs, innovation stories, and moments that shape enterprise transformation. Today, I'm so excited to have Rima Olander of AWS, who leads their global go-to-market AI and data for quick initiatives. Rima, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jim. I'm very excited to be with you.
We've known each other a long time. And,
yes.
And quick is pretty transformational. I'm super excited about talking about it and what you're seeing in the market with customers. And in that case, over the years, past several years, there's been so much excitement around generative AI and large language models, and organizations across the globe have tried chatbots and AI assistants and a whole host of variety of solutions to try to optimize and improve productivity and those kinds of things. But it seems like today, it's not about the tech, it's about business outcomes and really achieving value within these organizations, within IT, and then within the line of business. What would you say the hardest part or the struggles organizations are having in trying to get AI adopted within their enterprise?
Yeah, Jim, what we are seeing with customers specifically is the biggest challenge is that their data is fragmented. They have their data spread across 15 to 20 systems. It could be their data lakes, it could be in Snowflake, in Databricks, in Jira, and Slack, and so forth. And none of these systems are talking to each other. So when you are implementing AI within that organization, trying to connect it to a single system is really going to give you one partial half of the value that you get out of AI. So fragmentation is a key challenge. The second thing that we are observing is that as organizations implement AI, you see a usage of 10 to 15%, and then things tend to stall completely, and it plateaus. And it is because there is a friction in the system. There is a lot of context switching that is occurring between the users having to log into Slack and then log into Teams and then log into Gmail and so forth. This context switching, they use some of the cognitive load, and it introduces a friction point. And the third thing, which is extremely important, it has to do with governance and security. It's extremely important for customers to ensure that their data does not leak out. So anytime they're evaluating any AI agentic implementations, they just need to make sure that it is enterprise-grade security and that their data of the user is not being used to train a model. That is a key. That's an imperative.
Yeah, and we're seeing that as well in this notion of proprietary data and IP and all those kinds of things, especially in regulated industries where they view it as a competitive advantage, is certainly something that comes up
absolutely.
often, right? And certainly the data organizational challenge is real. It's real everywhere. We see it every day. You see it every day. But as you've Quick has been in market now. How long?
It is only actually
new. It's a baby.
it's very new. It was originally introduced in October of
Yeah, so-
2025. The big come out party
Yeah.
was in April actually of 26. So it's really, and it has taken us by storm.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
It's
I mean,
extraordinary in
us
short
as well.
amount of time.
And we're using it internally at Quantiphi. I'm super excited and continue to evolve and adopt its usage. And it is transformative and makes my life easier. And I know it makes your life easier and hopefully customers as well. As we talk about adoption and AI adoption, what's your sense of how Amazon Quick sort of helps accelerate that adoption and why are organizations turning to Quick to facilitate that?
Yeah, I would say it's a couple of things. One of the things that our customers tell us that they see value in it is that it meets the user where they are. And it is not just another like a chatbot that you find on a browser. And that's a real distinction because it is a native desktop application.
Yeah.
It could be on Windows or Mac. And it has persistent knowledge and memory. And it's not a stateless type of agentic tool. So meeting the users where they are and connecting to their tools has been a key competitive advantage. Another thing that is really I value is it's has a personal context that builds over time. What that means is that every interaction, like for example, preparing for this podcast, it looked through my Slacks, through my emails, through my Word docs of anything that Rima had a connection with Jim, and it built context around that. And the nice thing is I do not need to repeat things twice for it. For example, I could say, I want you every time you give me a response for it to be based on facts. I don't want any fluff words associated with it. And it remembers that and it builds it over time. So that is a real differentiator there. The third thing is people care about pricing models, as you know, and you're hearing the discussions about token costs and that is a big concern for customers. We started with the user pricing, and then we listened to our customers and accommodating them with consumption-based pricing. And the last thing they turn to AWS for, we're known for security is our number one priority. So governance and security is a key differentiator for us.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been doing AWS for 14 years now, and the foundational aspect of governance, security, risk management is sort of a given. Yeah. But the imperative is still there.
Absolutely.
Right? So organizations continue to reinforce that requirement. And even though Quick is super young in its infancy still, I know I can't keep up with the releases because they're moving so fast. I think there's going to be some more here coming out. But what are the most common sort of adoption patterns you're seeing for Quick, even in the early days? What's resonating and what's moving quickly?
When we are looking at why the users are evaluating and using it, one of the key common use cases is around knowledge retrieval. The thing that they like about it is that it, again, as I said, it connects to these multiple data sources, and users have the ability to, instead of having a static knowledge, to have knowledge that analyzes things for you and is more proactive. So the knowledge retrieval is use case number one. Use case number two has to do with workflow automation. This is really fantastic because what I could do is I could automate regular processes that I do. For example, I do monthly business reviews, weekly business reviews. This can all be automated for the user. It can take action on our behalf. It can create a Slack channel for me. It can look at the email coming from Jim, and it could say, all right, based on what I know Jim cares about, these are the best responses. And would you want to suggest additional business proposals for him? So that is another key differentiator. And the third thing, which we're seeing some customers do, is domain specific agents. So we see some companies that are building use cases on top of Quick that are domain specific. I'll use the example example of a company, Epic, which is a legal services company. And what they did is they built a regulatory research on top of Amazon Quick. We also have another customer by the name of Kitsa that built what they describe as a case scout on Quick in order to create the world's largest clinical trial site. So you have like this small company that could look like this massive big company because of the capabilities that is provided to them.
So they truly can be like the big boys.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And even a disruptor potentially, right?
Absolutely.
Which is exciting and very exciting because it starts to normalize the playing field a bit. Right?
Yes.
And speaking of sort of these upstarts and these companies that now maybe have a more competitive opportunity to be a force in the market, at Quantiphi, we have this concept of Phi Moments, and Phi Moments to us are these transformational, defining moments where something pivotal has happened, an idea sprung up, but we move quickly. We move beyond experimentation to adoption and real business value. You've been tied to Quick now almost since the inception. Has there been sort of one thing that sort of stood out, that one moment where you or a customer said, "That's it, and now let's go"?
I'll share the Amazon moment and I'll share a customer moment. This is a true statement. No one forced any Amazonian to use Amazon Quick. Once we released it, the rate of adoption from internal users, hundreds of thousands. This is unforeseen that hundreds of thousands of Amazonians on their own calling and saying, I need access to this tool and using it persistently. There is no plateau. There is no people like quitting it. There's no one saying, oh, I don't like it. I think that was a big aha moment for us. The usage, I get so many Slacks on a daily basis, Jim, of people saying, I just built this agent. I want you to look at it. It is so cool. It is making my life
that just
so
happened
amazing.
in my organization the other day. Someone did that
really,
to me.
I mean, it is so cool. The other thing that I get, and I posted this on LinkedIn, it's a true story. I've never seen users build a Slack channel that is called Quick Love. And they express what they love
their
about
affection
Quick,
for it?
their affection for it. I got a guy who... a guy who sent a note and he says, I would like to post an official complaint. And the official complaint is that I'm so addicted to it that I'm really spending all my time playing with it. And really playing with it is the way to go. I cannot talk about it as much.
That is true.
You just have to see how it changes your productivity. Another customer-related aha moment really was the DXC as a customer. You have 110,000 users. It was activated to all these users. The productivity, the feedback from those users, using it not just for knowledge workers, but it is expanding into ProServe, expanding into different groups within the organization to solve key business challenges. That was a big aha moment. Another one was as a customer, Genpact transforming their manufacturing and using Amazon Quick for that. That was also a big moment. When you see customers like equally passionate, it really energizes you and it says, okay, we are onto something.
That's your fuel,
there.
right? And then to keep innovating
absolutely.
quickly.
Yeah.
And that reaction is absolutely real. Someone a couple of weeks ago in Quantiphi literally scheduled a meeting so they could screen share with me what they did in Quick. Which doesn't, that just doesn't happen.
I'm saying,
that just
like,
doesn't happen.
It's so
it really
contagious.
Doesn't happen, right?
It's so contagious.
And I know it sounds like propaganda. It's not.
No, it is not. That's what I'm saying.
That's a real thing,
It is an
right?
aha moment.
But to play off of sort of the knowledge worker information retrieval thing, right? You know, this agentic, we've been talking about agentic now. You can't enter you can't go to a presentation anywhere without agentic being part of the, sort of like the .com thing back in the day, right? But as you think about agentic, the intersection of agentic and Quick, how organizations moving beyond sort of information retrieval and thinking about Quick as an agentic tool, capability, enabler, as part of that journey for them?
Yeah, I would say it follows a scale of 4 spectrums. You spoke about knowledge
Yeah.
retrieval. It is, I would say the first one is knowledge retrieval and reasoning.
Okay.
You know, that is
Yeah.
a key differentiator because it is not just a searching capability. It reasons across multiple sources. It synthesizes the information and it presents the answers to you with citations. That's number one. Number two is the task execution. The fact that it can send an email on your behalf. It can create a workflow. It can organize your calendar. It can tell you how you're spending your time today and how much you need to spend. I have to tell you, this is a true story. I went and asked Quick. I said, Quick, can you analyze it through my interaction with you? What I've been doing, through my
Yeah.
day? What am I spending my time on? Am I spending, my time in the right places? And it said, you know what? You've been spending your time 50% writing narratives. Amazon narratives.
Amazon way.
And only 30% on innovation. You need to increase that. And the good news, it did say I'm spending a lot of time with customers, which is what we want the time to be spent on. But it really analyzes that. So this task execution. The third thing on the spectrum is the multi-step orchestration. It is the fact that it can take a task and it can break it into components, and it can go through multiple sources of data. It can take the analytics from the reasoning. And that is a key differentiator from a spectrum.
Yeah.
And the last area, it has to do with a persistent autonomous agents. It supports scheduled agents that run on a cadence for you. And for example, I personally have built multiple agents. I have an agent that says, give me my morning briefing. I have another agent that goes and looks at all competitive information in the industry. I have an agent that says during my one-on-one with my team, what are the things that I need to zero in on? There's so many, I have so many agents that are built that really regulates and just improves the way that you are conducting your business, the way you are interacting with others, and you're really generating value for the organization. I love it.
Your passion is
life-changing.
palpable,
Yeah.
certainly. And I just wanted to this is a bit of a off question in terms of the core topic, but we talk about you talk about it can respond to emails for you and really be your assistant in the truest sense.
Companion.
And companion and learn your
Our
personality.
VP calls it his soulmate. He said it's not a teammate, it's a soulmate.
And how do you and customers how do you evolve on the trust equation, right? So how do you, because you have to trust it enough
Yeah.
to, if I send you an email, to have it respond to me as opposed to you responding to me.
Yeah.
Obviously it's curated because it's learned sort of your behavior and how you think and all of that. But how do you and customers think about sort of the trust aspect and the
I
evolution
think it
of
builds
trust?
over time.
Yeah.
No one starts by saying, you know what, it's going to respond right away. Now we've incorporated in that the fact that it asks the user for permission before an email is sent out. So many times, so I get my normal feed in the desktop feed. It has your Slack, your email, your calendar, everything as a single view. I don't need to do context switching. Then it says you received a message from Jim.
Yeah.
And Jim's context is 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives me a summary. And then it says, do you want to reply? And I say reply. But before I reply, it shows me what my reply is. And it gives me the option to review it, analyze it. Now, remember what I said, it memorizes the context of the thing. Many times it would say, hi, Jim, how is the weather, Jim? And whatever. And I say, no, this is fluff. I'm not interested
that's not you,
in
right.
that. That is not me. It remembers that.
Okay.
So the reason I said I'm not trusting it to send it right away is because I want it in 30 days, it will learn everything about you. And I did an exercise, and it was called, I built an agent, and it is a context of who Rima is and who Jim is. And then second one was a context of the organization. So in the context of who Rima is, it interviewed me for 4 hours. I mean, if this was really deep,
wow.
this was really serious, it was really personal. And it said, what are your values? How do you like to treat people? What do you care about? Like, it was very, very personal. And once it learned about you, and by the way, no, it's not shared within the organization,
course. I
it's
hope
private
not.
to you before people freak out. But I'll be happy to share that prompt because it
I
was
love it.
really, and
Yeah.
I put it on LinkedIn as
I'd
well.
love to have that.
But I'll send you that. And then it says, okay, tell me about your role. Tell me about your goals. Tell me about everything. So it takes the context of who you are.
Yeah.
It takes the context of your job and then your values as well. And then it responds to Jim. So when you see the responses, it is not about, and I like that you did this. This is authentic. After I tried it 2 or 3 or 4 times, now I trust, okay, send it. So now
Got
the
it.
responses that are coming are more me, but I just click a button.
They're tailored now,
It's more my language, my voice, my values, and it sends it
That's
to you. So
extraordinary.
it's really cool.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I need to do it.
Yeah.
use it
I'm going
more.
to send you that.
No, please do.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And so now as we think about our customers, our mutual customers, and obviously IT tends to be the early adopters of all of these things for a variety of reasons, to validate and to ensure, the trust that we talked about from a governance perspective.
Yeah.
But as we think about our customers and true business outcomes and measuring those business outcomes, what are some examples of real valuable outcomes that Quick customers have sort of realized in fairly short amount of time, given the fact that Quick's hasn't been around a tremendous amount of time?
I think when you see companies that are implementing AI, they're looking for 3 things. They're looking, how do I become more efficient? How do I save costs? Or how do I make money? In all of the 3 cases, we have seen customers that have seen real value from that. When you don't have to do the context switching, and again, it's just a few months ago that we released it, you are becoming more efficient. And this is a real data point, actually. I just remembered I was talking to someone about it. I think Harvard Business Review did a study, and it was that you waste 40 hours per month on context switching. Now, imagine that you don't have to move in between, because every time you move from one application to the other, you're saying, what was I trying to do? What decisions was I trying to make? And how am I going to respond to this differently? Whereas everything is in front of you in a single place with this persistent memory, with all these agents that are helping you. That is real value. That is real time savings. When you are reimagining how you're doing your manufacturing, that is providing you with a competitive advantage, and that is translating into revenue. So we see companies like 3M, for example. I'm trying to see who's public, who's in public.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So, but there are like large manufacturing companies, like large financial institutions have been big adopters of Amazon Quick, and it has been translating into real value in the 3 areas that I mentioned, which is efficiency improvements, savings on costs that is associated with productivity, like a process that used to take you, for example, days and weeks. Now it is taking a few hours. And the automation aspect that is really underscored in Amazon Quick. We have an automation for repetitive processes and workflows being used by a lot of finance type roles, personas. They love that, or manufacturing. That is a big use case as well. So there's a real value that is being derived from that.
It's we've talked about business outcomes in the tech industry for forever, right? So it's kind of refreshing now to actually be in a place where we can actually demonstrate
like
that,
we are
right?
here,
and customers
seeing real value.
Customers are seeing that, and obviously one of the defining sort of success criteria, I imagine, for Quick is end user adoption and getting it to line of business.
Yeah.
How is Quick addressing line of business? I mean, you talked about your use cases and how you use it every day. how does that transfer to someone in finance or HR
Mhm,
or
mhm,
legal
mhm,
or
mhm.
compliance or procurement
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
practical way, would you say?
absolutely. I spoke about the Amazon adoption journey.
Yeah.
When I look at who are the number one users, and I'm talking about big Amazon,
Yeah.
not AWS
Yeah.
specifically only, the number one, it has been legal. Number two has been our financial. Our CFO was the biggest proponent and the biggest user of Amazon Quick. He's just amazing. He talked about very passionately how it has transformed how we do accounts receivables, account payables. It's transforming into real use cases of how we are using Amazon Quick to identify who are the most risk customers. For example, you look at profile of, and it's happening also with banks. Banks, because I could put all my customer information in a data set.
Yeah.
And within that data set, I could query against it and I could say, show me what is the highest probability of a customer defaulting on a loan, for example. I'm just using one of those. Then you have in leasing, when you're trying to lease, all the amount of paperwork and the research and everything, this is now being done in seconds. Like it's really very, very transformative. That is in this one. In the healthcare industry, you're seeing, a clinical trial. We have a lot of customers that are using Amazon Quick to sort through vast amount of data and extract the key, very critical components that are needed to advance a specific study. So we're seeing that. In manufacturing, it is being used for supply chain specifically. How do I become more efficient? How do I, for example, I'm a manufacturing company and I have a lot of suppliers that are external to me, vendors that are logging into my systems and using information from my databases. This facilitates the retrieval of information and the application of it to a specific vendor that is working with me. We recently, I don't know if you saw the news, we made Amazon Quick available to all Amazon merchant sellers.
Yeah, I did.
That is a big increase in productivity, where you could see, what products are moving, which one is the number one that customers are looking at. How do I look at Amazon's, inventory and retrieve the most relevant to my business? So we're seeing a lot of use cases by industry and a lot of use cases by persona as well.
It's thank you. It is remarkable when you show customers how easy it is, that they don't have to be coders anymore. They can use natural language and English and tell it what they want, and
that's what we love it.
Right.
It's not meant for the data scientists
No,
only,
it's like-
even though they're using it. It is meant for people
I
like
call us
you and
mere
me.
mortals, right?
Like people like I just talk to it, and even if I don't know a topic, I say, "Quick, I really don't know what I'm talking about on this. Can you please walk me as a 5-year-old?
Teach me, please.
And teach me, please." And then Quick says, "I'm here for you. I will walk through." It's a true story. It does say that.
Rima, thank you so much for joining me and us.
My pleasure. I appreciate the partnership.
We've
Jim.
been colleagues for a long time. We've seen this journey together. I remember when Quick launched, I called you and said, "Should I care about this thing?" And that was the real question, right? And you said absolutely, positively. And it's clear now we've moved beyond sort of pilots and experimentation, and now customers are trying to get to outcomes in a measurable way, but in a trusted and a verifiable way. Is there any one piece of advice you'd give companies in terms of exploring Quick, and in terms of how to give it a chance, or what you think they should be looking for if they were to think about trying it?
This is what I would say. I would say companies are spending a lot of time trying rightfully to evaluate what tools they should use. And this endless cycle of evaluation could be detriment to it's good to evaluate, but taking 6 months or 8 months to continue to evaluate, there's always going to be something new that comes out. What I would say, this is a proven AI-powered companion for enterprise knowledge workers. It is built on Amazon, very trusted infrastructure, and trusted by enterprises. The only way to really see how amazing it is, just play with it.
It is.
I can't sell it, just play with it. And it's very easy for any user to play with it and see the productivity and see the passion that comes out of your employees.
It's, and thank you for that advice. And, evaluation forever is at the speed of which,
it's a dead end.
especially now with the speed of transformation and change with the tech. And we're excited. Quantiphi is excited to partner with AWS for what we're calling Live in 45, which is take Amazon quick and get a live use case up and running in 45 days. Which we're very excited about. And were it not for quick, that would not even be in the realm of possibility. So we're extraordinarily excited about that. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Exciting.
Good luck to Quick. Quantiphi and AWS have been partners for a long time. We view the AI data journey as something that is truly profoundly transformational, and thrilled to be doing it with you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Forward
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. To learn more about how we're helping enterprises transform with AI-first solutions, subscribe to Phi Moments on your go-to podcast channels or visit quantiphi.com.